Hello, everybody. I'm Ollamh, and today I'm with
Outlander, or John Miller from the American Machine.
And today we're going to be talking about remakes, reboots, and sequels. Now, this came about because of a lot of different... They've been doing all kinds of reboots and stuff, and they're talking about remaking the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is just a bad idea. Now, for those of you who don't know, there is a difference between a remake and a reboot. A remake is taking the same characters, same storyline, and doing it in a more modern setting with modern technology.
And a reboot is where you're taking the core items and kind of mashing them around in a wobbly sort of way and coming up with a new story and kind of expanding that universe in some way, but more or less ignoring what was done before.
Now, a few examples of remakes. Same time frame, same creators originally. The Good is going from the absent-minded professor to Flubber. That was very much a remake because they kept the same ideas, they kept the same storyline, they kept the same scenes.
Almost not necessarily frame by frame, but scene by scene.
Yeah, the basketball team's a bunch of losers, so we're going to put this on the soles of their shoes, let them jump higher. You know, we're going to have the flying car. Now, at the same time frame, and I think the same actor in the original, the Shaggy Dog. You had the original, and you had the remake with Robert Downey Jr. I mean, Flubber had Robin Williams. Shaggy Dog had Robert Downey Jr. Technically, they both should have been great movies. Except for one really took off, and one people don't even realize it had a remake.
I didn't even know that Robert Downey Jr. was in that one.
A lot of people didn't. A lot of people are like, wait, what?
Iron Man was a dog?
Remakes can be done. Generally, they aren't that good, simply because of the fact that you're trying to capture that same feel, that same...
And that's so hard to do. It's so hard to capture that same magic. The last time Star Trek had that opportunity was in that break between the series before the motion picture came out. That's when, anything could have happened for the Star Trek universe, and then it was set.
They did do a reboot using the, time travel, creating a separate timeline. So, we rebooted, we have new stories, but at the same, they can take those same stories and they can tell them in a completely different way.
I'm reasonably certain that on the whole timeline thing and the timey-wimey, changey thing, Gene Roddenberry's spinning his grave so fast he's generating a magnetic field.
Another idea of a reboot was Dread. And I know this is one that you particularly liked. Oh, yeah. And the storyline was very different.
Well, I didn't think of it as a different storyline necessarily, because I felt like, from what little I knew about the Dredd universe, the Stallone one, partly just because Stallone was involved, had to be its own thing, separate of what they were actually doing, because Stallone had to take the helmet off.
Yeah, it could not be, no, they have to see my face. They have to know that it's me. Your accent's enough to tell people that it's you.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. He could have left that.
We all know you had Bell's palsy. Come on.
Now, an interesting cross between remaking and rebooting, at least from what we've seen in the trailer so far, is Terminator Genisys.
That's a strange blend of remake and reboot, because it's like a remake reboot sequel. From the newest trailer that dropped anyway, we got to see the new John Connor.
They kind of remake some of it because they show Kyle Reese coming in. They show him being chased by the police, breaking into this clothing store, holding a tennis shoe up to his foot to make sure that it's the right size and everything. And that was shot for shot from the original, just with a new actor. And then they have it, this police, the policeman comes in, and lo and behold, it's a T-1000. Okay, now we're into the reboot portion of it, where this isn't...
Because the T-1000 originally was the other dude.
Yeah, it was
Who went on to
Terminator 2 that had the T-1000.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they showed the actual shot of Arnie Schwarzenegger, the original, coming in to our time.
And old Arnie being like, I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, so, hey, maybe it's a remake. No, there's the reboot. Yep, they just...
Because, again, we're playing with timelines. It's kind of a sequel, too.
Yeah, it's kind of a sequel.
It's hard to call.
I think I'm going to stick with it's more of a reboot than anything else because they are keeping all the characters, but at the same time they're kind of saying, no, we're going to take this in a completely different way. I kind of get the feel of a little bit of Terminator Salvation as well, with the introduction of the robotic, the cybernetic John Connors. Mm-hmm. It's not just a being. This is somebody who has human memories, human attitudes, but he's cybernetic. In Salvation, the infiltration unit didn't know that it was a robot. It was a Terminator. And then towards the end, it did. It realized that.
It was a humanity story at that point.
And it looks like they're kind of taking that idea, refreshing it, and moving it forward with John Connors. Because he knows that he's not human, but he's not a Terminator. He is something new. Mm-hmm. Why he's come back, I don't know. I'm kind of leery about that.
I just had a moment. I just realized John Connor is Ultron.
So a series that was rebooted, at least eventually became a reboot, is Battlestar Galactica. The original miniseries looked like they kind of played it off as if it was a continuation. It was, they found this planet, it became Caprica?
Caprica.
Yeah. Okay. They joke about, the Cylons used to look like these, the Cylon Centurions used to look like these toasters and everything. They had the old Viper. It looked like it was just a continuation. And then it turned into a reboot. It was, no. You know what? No, the Cylons aren't robots that were made by these reptilian aliens. They were made by humanity. And then they rebelled and broke free. So they kind of started off as a sequel, really, and then became a reboot.
Yeah, because it was what, like a 4-part or a 6-part miniseries that they all said, "Wow, this is really good. We should keep going." Which I think maybe was part of the plan, but they played it as the...
Yeah, I think it was kind of we're going to play it as a continuation for the miniseries, and then it was, oh, wait a second. People really liked this.
Yeah.
Let's make more, but let's make our own unique story to differentiate it from...
Well, and it was so well thought out too, because I never while watching Battlestar Galactica really got the feeling that there were filler episodes. It was all planned out and intentional, which is great. I love it when a series isn't floundering and looking for material.
Now, obviously with sequels, they've done a lot, and some of them have really picked up, most of them, honestly, have really gone well. Prime example would be the Tron series, Tron Legacy. It was very much a sequel. It was, okay, well, Flynn took over this company. He he basically took this micro universe that's inside the computers and, said, okay, well, I'm going to recreate Clue, which was the original character that was in, the original program that he sent in. I'm going to recreate him. We're going to make this, we're going to take this universe, we're going to take it away from being the mainframe for a company. And that didn't work so well.
Yeah, it's thing about telling a program, basically a robot, to make the perfect world.
Now, Doctor Who, they did the same thing. Doctor Who, everybody says, oh, they rebooted it. No, it wasn't a reboot. It's just a continuation.
Yeah, the Doctor gets 12 iterations.
Yeah.
12 transformations. 12 reboots. Regenerations. 12 regenerations, not reboots.
I can't imagine why I would know that much about it.
I'm still learning.
a lot of sequels just really go off well. Now, I suppose one that didn't do so well that, honestly, I kind of liked it still was Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
I liked it well enough, but there was so much, they were trying too hard to use all of it. To me, because I'm a wannabe special effects artist. So to me, when I see them use all the same effects that they had to use in the 80s, and they're using them in the 90s, it started to look cheesy to me in a way.
That's one of the things
the CGI was okay.
That's one of the things that I kind of liked. I liked the old school special effects.
You should always do live effects.
I did not like the CGI. I didn't like the CGI ants. The CGI
those
ants
terrible.
were horrible.
They were terrible.
They should have kept the old school, this is what we did with the original 3, this is how we're going to keep doing the special effects.
Just stick a bunch of rats in the room. You know, it works out. So, sequels, my thing for sequels, there's not a lot of movie sequels I'm super interested in, but there is one particular mini-series, kind of TV series continuation I want to see, and that is, at the end of Deep Space Nine, Cisco goes into the wormhole and to learn from the prophets. I don't think anywhere in the canon so far Cisco's come back out to meet his wife and son and all of that jazz. They could probably even bring back Tony Todd to play his son whenever they do it. Who also, ironically enough, Tony Todd made an excellent Klingon too.
Now, you guys are going to have to pardon him. He's still kind of upset that they rebooted the movie series right before Deep Space Nine was due to get their time on the big screen.
About that. No, I definitely want a DS9 continuation, just so we're certain about that. Paramount.
Now we're going to talk about our picks for remakes, reboots, and sequels. My choice would honestly be Masters of the Universe. Simply because they can keep the same story, they can keep the magical portal that brings them to Earth. Everybody else does it. They do it to this day. They can remake that, keep the same storyline, and we have the technology to do it so much better. So what is your choice for a movie that should be remade?
Babylon 5.
Okay.
I want to see, I want future generations, or at least a generation that is in proximity to me, to know what Babylon 5 was.
Okay.
Even if it is just a movie, if you could cram the whole Shadow War into a movie, boom, it's going to be a 3-hour movie, but that's still pretty freaking epic.
Now, for reboots, my choice for a reboot, honestly, would be the Dirty Harry series. The dark, rugged cop that just... He plays by his own rules, and he doesn't... But he gets the results. He plays by his own rules, but he doesn't outright break the rules. He bends them to the extreme, but he's still, he's still very much his own man. He does things his way. So your choice for a reboot would be...
Some people are going to hate me. Critters or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Awesomely made, all live effects, no CGI except for like the kind of like laser blast or whatever that they actually have to scratch into the film and then fill in with something else, that kind of thing. Yeah, either Critters or Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
And for sequels, I want Enemy Mine. That really classic Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. Your sequel.
My sequel. Okay, this was a thing that came up recently. Somebody did a modern trailer for this 80s movie. The Last Starfighter. I want to see The Last Starfighter done as a sequel. See, what we know is that the Kodan Armada, led by that one guy who betrayed the baldy Jean-Luc Picard wannabes, that was an armada of a larger government. So maybe all we know, ever since Alex Rogan left Earth, after he defeated the Kodan Armada and came back to get his woman and everything, maybe that war continued. Like, from the 80s until now. and maybe Alex Rogan was was a chief instructor at the Starfighter school and went out on a mission and got captured, and somehow in his original Starfighter the location of Earth was discovered. I want to see a sequel to Last Starfighter.
So that's our picks as far as remakes, reboots, and sequels. What we would like you to do is leave a comment down below and let us know what your picks for a remake, a reboot, or a sequel to an older movie would be.
And give us other ideas, too, while you're down there, for other things you'd like us to discuss on this show.
And, as always, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
We'll see you next time.